welcome to episode number 4 of Positive People Progressing. My name is Marty Dickinson with HereNextYear.com and ProduceMyBook.com. I have a book around here somewhere called Lions Always Win that is up on Amazon, and it is the first place I send all people I come into contact with. Because one of the questions I always ask them is, what do you want? The only way I can help you is if I know what you want. And most people do not know even close what they want. So I had to write a book about it to answer that question. How do you figure out exactly what you want and then make a plan to get it to you? So that was the premise for starting this program, because one of the phrases I use in that book is you become who you hang around. And I just believe that we need to be hanging around more actual real people who are positive in this crazy time of COVID and civil unrest and all that, that we're not ignoring it. We're not trying to go around it, but despite the challenges in the world, we are still progressing in a forward direction. And those are the kinds of people, if you are in business for yourself, or even if you work for a company and you're a CEO or in the C-suite, you need to be around people who are in that progressive mindset. So that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, you need to go find 6 more of these so that you can watch a program every day. So you start out your day in a progressive mindset like we're trying to set here. So join us every week on Wednesday, same time. This is within the next couple of weeks. This is officially turning into a podcast. I've gotten a lot of really helpful suggestions from people to do that, and that it's something that's needed. So we're going to push forward with that. And it's just really a fun thing to do. I'm really getting excited about where this is going. So I am interviewing other people who are positive and progressing in their business. And one of those people today is Peter Brissette. I've known Peter for probably about 5 years now. We actually got to know each other more in a mastermind group of sorts that we put together to practice presenting on virtual live. That was right when Zoom was first coming out. And so every week we met and we practiced presentation skills on virtual live and created a whole set of best practices and things like that. And so Peter's always been in my mind, because at that time he was starting a new company that we're going to be talking about here, having to do with reviews. But he has always been in my mind when I start thinking about getting business reviews. So I was excited from the start to have him on this program to talk about that subject. So a couple other things about Peter. He introduced a phrase that you don't hear too often. He introduced a phrase to me called review marketing. Now, you've heard about going out and getting reviews and asking your clients for reviews, but did you ever actually think that getting reviews and managing them was actually a marketing function? So that's a great phrase for us to remember. Review marketing. Growing your business with positive reviews. That is what our focus is going to be today. So he is going to share with us a whole bunch of ideas to help you understand the challenges of growing and marketing a business in today's technology and what he calls an information overloaded society, which is so true for sure. And Peter is an author of a book called Overcoming Negative Online Reviews: How to Survive a Digital Attack. So we need to hear the backstory on that one. There must have been something that caused that to go.
Yes.
But hey, that's a Kindle book, and I'm going to actually put a link in the field below this this interview here, so you can go check out that book. But it's a Kindle book that details the system that he designed to help local businesses take a proactive approach to managing their online reputation. Peter Brissette, thanks for being with me.
Thank you so much, Marty. It's great to be with you. And actually, I've followed you for a lot longer than I've known you.
Oh, okay.
So, because, I mean, I've been in business for 10 years, and you've been in business here in Denver for many years. And, 10 years ago, you were still doing workshops and training and things like that. And you probably more than anybody in town was the go-to guy for anything digital marketing. and websites and all that. So I was always closely watching you for many years. And then over time, there's all these events that happen in town, and sooner or later you bump into somebody. And
Right.
so getting to meet you, and then we've done a couple of things together now, and it's like, this is awesome. Like, I went from going, oh, I wish I could be like Marty. And then my business growing and moving ahead, and then getting to meet you and hanging out with you. So, it's very possible when you see people that you look up to that you can totally meet them and even do business together. So it's been great to watch your progress. I follow everything you do. So whatever you're doing new, I'm like, I need to pay attention to this because Marty's doing it.
I appreciate that, but Peter, the reverse is true too. I mean, it's really interesting how you go through your years as a business owner and you start to develop relationships and a network and a referral network. People that
Right.
if I don't do something, I get a call from somebody. I've got dozens of people where I say, oh, well, you just need to call this guy, or you need to call this person. And
Yes.
don't even ask questions. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt the direction. Just whatever that person wants, go pay it.
Yep. Exactly.
And that's kind of how a family develops. And it's a survival family. I mean, if I was to get in trouble, I know that I can call you to take over for a certain service that I offer for clients. I mean, and that's how a family develops. So I just think that's really important. Maybe we'll have to do another session about that.
Yeah.
Your business family. I have to
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to talk about reviews today, and I'm just going to really start off the whole conversation here with what exactly, I'd like you to define for us what exactly a business review is, number one. And when we talk about business reviews, are we only talking about reviews for restaurants, for stores, for movies, for things where you can go that have an actual location to go to, or service providers that work out of their home, can they get reviews too, or is this only for the brick and mortar business that we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, my initial experience with reviews initially was many years ago on eBay. If you ever bought or sold anything on eBay, I don't know if you remember that, where you as a buyer or seller got reviewed by the other person. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then Amazon came out and you started seeing reviews from Amazon. And then Google started adding reviews as part of your business, in particular brick and mortar businesses. But even a service-based business can use a Google My Business page to get reviews. My number one goal for clients is to get the reviews that are most trusted. So you can definitely get really great testimonials that really, and actually I have 6 questions to ask to get really great testimonials, because it really helps define, what you did for somebody. And anything that's a higher price ticket item or higher end service, you need to have a lot more detail to that. And so you can get those testimonials. So you should be getting those regardless. If you are a brick and mortar local business, you have to be using Google and Google reviews specifically and building that out. And it really becomes a competitive question. What's my competition doing? How many reviews do they have? How good are the reviews? What's their overall rating? Because how you're going to come up in search results is impacted by that. But it also matters from the consumer's perspective is how do I rate these two businesses that everything else to me looks the same? They provide the same services. They're about the same price. They say they do the same stuff. How do I decide which one to use? Well, this one has a 4.8 rating and this one has a 4.5. Well, okay, I'll go with the 4.8. So decisions are being made like that to make the call. Now, that doesn't mean they'll do business, but they're going to at least take the next step and call that business and see if they want to work with them or not. So you still have to deliver the results at the end of the day for that.
Well, let me ask you kind of a sub question to this. So why is it that so many people just overlook getting reviews from their own clients? What's the holdup?
There's a couple of factors. One is priority, just general priority. Where does this fit on the list of the priorities of things I got to get done today? And getting reviews it's in there. I don't think there's any question that every business owner knows it's important. It's just not on the high priority list. And unfortunately, what happens, and this is, unfortunately, we get a lot of clients this way when they suddenly get a negative review. Like often I've had clients that had no reviews, but they got a negative review. And all of a sudden it became important, right? And one client in particular, I've got a video on the website, local CPA. She didn't even realize she had a negative review, and that was the only review that she had.
Wow.
And so she had an opportunity to partner with a software vendor, and the software vendor was going to have them speak at her conference. And the software vendor said, "We really like to use you, but when we looked at your reviews, you had this negative review."
Oh, that's terrible. But I'm sure it happens every day.
So we don't necessarily always think about the bigger impact of what a negative review could do, in particular if we have nothing else out there for people to compare it to.
Right.
So it becomes important on many different levels. So my challenge, with talking to business owners is to kick that up to, you do not realize how important this is because of the negative impact. And I hate to be a negative person because this is a positive show. We're talking about positive things.
Yeah.
But I am positive that if you get negative reviews, it's going to hurt your business.
Well, the whole idea here is that we are going to put a positive outlook on reviews, because
right.
We're after really kind of getting people to prioritize this, including myself. I mean, I think everybody, whenever I launch a book, of course I need reviews, and that's always a big priority. But from a business aspect, it's not just enough to get video testimonials from people so you can put it onto your pages. You also got to get reviews on at least Google. But what else is there? Where should people be getting these reviews placed?
The next one is Facebook. So if you've got a Facebook page, there's Facebook recommendations. You can get them there. Definitely should do that. Google and Facebook are two of the biggest priorities. They're going to have the most visibility. They're the ones you're most actively using in your other forms of your marketing. They're going to pop up in front of people seeing those things. The other one for restaurants and some healthcare related businesses, Yelp is still is a key site. People use it pretty heavily in that space. So you can look at that. Yelp's a difficult one though, because they have such more stringent terms of service and how you use it and what reviews actually show up and don't show up. Most business owners don't like dealing with Yelp because there's a lot of, contention there with how they do business. But it's still a factor. I would prioritize, Google, Facebook, Yelp, if you're a local business. Okay. Outside of that, there's very niche specific sites. So if you're an attorney, there's a couple of very specific attorney related sites like avo.com, where you want to build reviews there as well, because people do look at that to see, well, are you a good attorney or not? If you're a doctor or medical professional, Health Grades is another site out there. There's a couple other others like that. If you're a senior care community or senior care service provider of some type, caring.com is the #1 review site for that space that people use out there. So there's niche specific sites depending on your industry that become important as well, that you need to pay attention to. And so you're starting to build out across the board. The first we typically look at is Google and going, what is your competition doing? And trying to get, if you can, get on par to where your competition is at to help you with that. And then from there, you can build out the other sites and do that. But again, if you don't have a plan, this is my review marketing strategy of how I'm going to do this and how's it going to work and how did I do this month? We go back and measure, did I get new reviews? And we're asking those questions and tracking that, all of that gets lost. It has to become systemized just like you do any other part of your marketing.
Huh. Okay. We're going to get to, I always like to offer people a next step, because it doesn't help at all for us to be talking about how great reviews can be for your business. And here you go do this all by yourself and figure it all out, which you've worked years to do. So we're going to get to that and give you a next step and offer that you can take a next step with Peter. But I really want to focus on a couple of things here that are going to be relevant to absolutely everybody. And that is the strategy of convincing someone to give you a review. We really need to talk about that, because I remember I was at a conference one time, long time ago. I mean, it was probably like the year 2000. I was at one of my first internet marketing conferences, and a guy walked up to me and he said, "So how do you like the conference?" And I said, "Oh, it's great." And he said, "Well, what'd you learn?" And I told him, and he said, "Would you say that again into this camera?"
Nice.
And I said that, and I just happened to slip in herenextyear.com at the end of it.
Yeah.
And that video was used for like the next 10 years to promote future events put on by this person.
Right.
I had no idea until I saw it on Google Analytics years later. Where the heck is this coming from?
That's awesome.
Crazy. So the importance is there in many ways that people might not even realize initially. But let's talk about specifically how you get those reviews. So first of all, let's talk about evergreen. What kind of technique works with a customer or a client that a person works with, where you suggest, will you please give me a review?
Yeah. So there's two main things that you have to do. And then there's kind of what sets that up. So the two things that you have to do, and this is the basic premise of everything that I talk about and everything I do, is this. One, you have to make it easy for them. There has to be an easy method to do that. So that's some of the stuff that we do, and you can, and through all of my training and documentation and videos and all that, I give you easy ways you can do it yourself. We can help you with that. You have to make it easy. Number two, this is the big one, Barney.
I'm ready.
You have to ask.
You have to ask.
You have to ask.
Yep.
That is what you have to do. And you may have to ask multiple ways and multiple times and in a variety of venues, whatever it takes, but you have to ask. So the challenge is, and we've got stats on this, right? 90% of consumers read reviews, but only 6% will actually write reviews.
6%. Wow. Huh.
And we find that most people, there's another stat for you, 7 out of 10 people will write a positive review if they're asked. So there are positive reviews just out there waiting for you. It's not that people don't want to do it. They're just busy, right? It's not the high priority for them to write a review for you. So you have to ask, and you might have to ask multiple times. Now, the best time to do this is when I get a positive comment from a client. Anytime I'm working with the client, we're doing a process, maybe we had to fix something, and they say, "Oh my gosh, you saved my life. It was so great what you just did for me." That's awesome. Will you go here and write a review for me?
Aha.
Like you have to strike when the iron's hot. That's the best time to get it.
You're going to get something even more important than just asking. You said, "Will you please go here?"
Yes.
And give a review.
Correct.
So you're actually instructing them where to put the review specifically.
That's the make it easy part.
Aha. Okay.
Yep. Write me a review, and this is where you're going to go to do it.
Okay. Is there anything that you've seen change over the past couple of years, or even the past few months because of COVID and all that, that people should know about any different strategy you might have to use in this to get reviews that people just kind of took for granted before. But now that we've got this special situation, the next
Right.
normal and all that, is there anything different?
I wish I could say I came up with a brand new magical formula. There's not. It's the same. You have to see the opportunities, you have to ask, and you have to make it easy. And if you do that, it's been the same years ago. It's the same today. It's the same method I do anytime that I'm asking for reviews.
Okay.
Here you go. This is where you go to do it. Please do it now. What else do I need to do to have you be motivated right now to write me a review?
Well, that's good news. One thing in the world that hasn't changed.
Yes, that part hasn't changed.
Yay.
Now, the importance of it in a lot of ways has changed. So in particular, if you have a business that is interacting with the public, and for people to understand, what are you doing to make me safe?
Right.
In interacting with your business, now you want to get reviews that are talking about that piece of it. So we have a quick formula that I'll give you. We call it RFP for online reviews.
Okay.
Recency, frequency, and proximity. And proximity has two factors. We call it Q squared, quality and quantity. So how recent your reviews are is important. Some surveys we have show that a review that's older than 3 months, it becomes less important to a consumer.
Wow, 3 months. That's not
So
very long.
a review from a year ago or 2 years ago might be nice and helpful, but it's not as impactful as a recent review.
Sure.
So recency is important.
Okay.
So the frequency of those reviews becomes important for several factors. Search engine is a factor of that. And again, is it frequent enough that people can see, well, you weren't just good 2 years ago. You were good a year ago, and you were good 6 months ago, and last month you're still good.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Like
So
a longevity factor.
yeah, there's a frequency there to that.
Okay.
And then the proximity piece is the quality and quantity. So how many reviews becomes a matter. People ask me, well, how many reviews should I get? Get as many as you can. Like, don't stop getting reviews. Like, there's no end to continuing to get reviews. Are you continuing to be in business? Are you continuing to serve clients and customers? Then you should be constantly getting reviews. That should never stop. So the quantity is, get more. In particular, if you have competition that has more than you, then you need to get to that level and at least match them. And then the quality becomes important. So when we're talking about things like COVID and safety, what are they saying in the review? So this becomes more of a direction when you need to remind people, say, oh, I really felt safe in your facility. Maybe they say that to you. I felt really safe because of all the things that you did. Will you go write a review that says that so that people understand that we're doing that? Yeah. Here's the other thing, and I meant to mention this earlier, but I kind of missed the point. The fact that we're asking for reviews on Google versus just for our website, it's great to have them on your website, but it becomes that trust factor that someone willingly posted on a third-party independent site and they put their name on it and said, this is what I think of you. There's a lot higher level of trust in that than just having testimonials on your site. Not that they're not good, because they are good and they're very helpful. But that higher level of trust and that social proof is so much stronger when you're writing it on a third-party review site.
So if you don't have those reviews somewhere, anywhere, you're missing a big part of the boat.
Huge piece. So in the blog post that you did, you said, hey, give me some ideas on a few things. But some of the stuff that we don't think about, especially if you're spending any money at any level on marketing for your business, if you're driving traffic to your website, you're running Facebook ads, you're running Google ads, you got an ad in the newspaper. What is it those people see when they go to check you out? Because they're going to check you out. There's a certain percentage of people that are going to look at that advertisement and go, well, who is this?
Yeah.
And if you don't have a good review profile, you wasted dollars. Like, you've dropped your conversion rate from what could be a really nice number to very low. So if you're going, I run ads all the time, I get no results. Have you checked your reviews? Maybe that's why you're not getting good results.
Now that's an interesting connection that I had not thought about. Facebook ads and Instagram ads are so huge right now. And we have a future guest coming on talking about all that in a couple of weeks, but I never even thought about how people see an ad. And you know what's funny? I do it myself. If I see a Facebook ad and I'm going to attend a virtual live event, I start looking up the speakers. And
Yeah.
what am I doing? I'm looking for reviews of the speakers. I want to know people's opinions of the speakers coming.
Yes.
I never made the connection. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it really,
Huh.
it's a piece of it that, again, there's so many multiple levels that the reviews impact for a business. So, and it's why we spend so much time focusing on it.
All right. So I have another question for you at the end of this, because it's a half an hour just goes by
you imagine?
so fast every single time. But I want to give people the next step with you, because obviously, I mean, I know about a third of the amount that I need to know when it comes to reviews, and that you've proven that to me. And I've been doing this internet marketing stuff since 1996. So I could just imagine somebody who's just started a new company, or they've maybe been in business for a year or two, or they've hit the COVID, plateau, where things are just going really south, or they're having trouble. Here we are. I consider this to be New Year's. We're after Labor Day now. So for a business, this is like New Year's. You should be launching new things, and this is the launch pad right now.
Right.
But there's so many business owners right now that are just really stuck, and they're wondering how they're going to be able to make their payroll next week. So how can you help these people so that they don't spend the next 8 months trying to figure out on their own how to go about this?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing is to, look at, what do you have out there, and then a quick glimpse of what's your competition doing. And we can help you do that totally for free. The only thing we ask is that you book a time with us so we can have a conversation with you. And it's not a sales pitch. We don't sell people. We look at what's the problem. Do we have a solution that's going to work for you? And so if they really want to just get a look at their landscape, where they're at, what do they need to do next? We can schedule a quick 15-minute call and review what they have out there now, and give them, easy next steps to do that. So, and our service is super affordable on top of that, if they decide to do it. But go ahead.
Where do they go to do that?
So reviewmemarketing.co is our main website, and there's a button there that says schedule now. Big yellow button, can't miss it. That'll pop up the calendar scheduler, and just pick a 15-minute time slot that works for you, and we'll get on a quick call and go through that and talk about that. So we'll give you a full reviews report. Where do you stand now? How are you looking on all the key sites? And a quick glimpse of your key competition, so you can see where you stand in comparison.
I have a couple of questions from Steve, who's watching the program here, and these are pretty good questions. Number one, what about LinkedIn?
Yeah, so LinkedIn gets left out and forgot quite a bit. There's several levels that LinkedIn's important. One is LinkedIn recommendations are still great. You should still be, going out, and in particular, having that visibility. If you have clients that are on LinkedIn as well, and they're using that platform, then definitely get LinkedIn recommendations are still a great opportunity for you. So definitely, I would do that. The other reason that it becomes important on LinkedIn is because if you have employees, if you're hiring people on a regular basis, then LinkedIn becomes an important site that people are going to look at. So you, as the leader of the business, or other people that work for you, and the recommendations they have, that becomes an important piece of that overall picture in terms of hiring. There's two websites too right now, and actually one just bought the other, and I can't remember which one it is right now, but Glassdoor and Indeed.
Okay.
So Glassdoor and Indeed are the two biggest employment websites, and they take reviews of your business on there. And most businesses are overlooking that.
Wow.
And so if you're getting negative reviews from employees that you've had to let go or whatever, then you need to counteract that with your happy employees and have them write positive reviews for you. This is going to impact how you get people in the future.
Wow. I hope everybody heard that. That is such great advice. So you do realize this is free advice, right? I mean, the quality of suggestions I'm getting from my guests on these 4 episodes is just incredible. Thank you for saying that. That is definitely something not many people think about. Okay, well, Steve had another question here. Let me just look at it. And this is one of the benefits of attending live, is that you actually get to ask questions.
Absolutely.
Now, let's see. What about, this is another good question. What if the review happens and the person doesn't put their name attached, it doesn't add their name attached to the review? Does that make you look bad, or is it a worthless review? What do you think?
So it's difficult to do that, actually. It's pretty rare item if you're getting a review on, let's say, Google or Facebook or anywhere, that you don't have a name.
Okay.
That it's anonymous in some way. And yeah, definitely an anonymous review is not great, because how do I know where that came from? Like, that could have been one of your, family members that wrote that, or like it brings everything into question in anonymous reviews. So yeah, not a fan of anonymous reviews.
Right? I mean, you have to teach your clients how to give a review. I mean, hardly anybody, it seems, knows how to give a video review.
Yes.
Like conferences, for example, or a live event. If you say, will you please give me a review for the event, and make sure to add your own website, because I'll give you promotion, just like what the guy did for me with my testimonial. So you have to teach people step by step how to produce these so that they feel comfortable to do it. So I'd even say there's a third way, a third step to your process. And the first one you said was, the second one was to ask. What was the first one?
Make it easy.
Right? I guess it falls under that, to make it easy by giving them the instruction of exactly how to put together a review without even crafting it for them, maybe. I mean, do you ever do that? Do you ever craft a review yourself and send it to a client and say, will you use this?
Yeah, you definitely, there's nothing wrong with having a template of key information to help remind your client of what they did and why they did it.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with kind of giving them some cues of, here's some things to remember when you're writing this review. This is why you decided to do this, and this is why you do this, or this is what we typically do. So you can have some template information that you can provide for them to really give them some better ideas. Again, quality matters in the review as well. And so being able to have some templates like that are super helpful.
Okay. Hey, I really want to help to promote the service that you offer, because it does make everything so much easier for everybody. I wonder if you would give me something to post on my own website, because I made a blog post to promote this event, and there's a bunch of benefits of getting into really focusing on reviews. But I wonder if you would share with me the six. You said you had 6 questions.
Yeah, 6 questions. And actually, I'll give credit to the person that I got it from, but I will gladly share that with you.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're super powerful. They really do help. It's not just about the review. It's in particular when you want some longer, more deeper testimonials.
Okay.
Then these questions will pull it out, and you'll get amazing information that you're like, wow, I didn't even realize the impact of what I was doing.
Awesome. I will post that with the recording of this session today on the website, like I've been doing. So, and that'll be at herenextyear.com. So just go to the blog area and you'll see that sometime today. I'll send out a note to all my followers on Facebook and email and all that. But good. Well, it is 10:36, so we're going to cut short here. I mean, we could go on and on, but one of the greatest techniques of a comedian is to leave the audience laughing, right? So
That's right.
we want to leave you wanting more, because that just proves that you really do need to take a next step here with Peter to really launch into reviews and do it right and make it part of your marketing program. And there's even a phrase for it: review marketing. We all need to remember that and put it on the forefront of our minds. So thank you so much, Peter, for being with us today.
Thank you, Marty. It's been great. I love talking about this stuff. I don't know if you noticed that. I could talk about this all day. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to not only work with you, again, respect you so much and everything that you've done over the years. So it's great privilege for me to be able to have the opportunity to share with your audience.
And we will go skiing soon.
Yeah.
Well, next week, I'm going to do something, if you know me long enough, I don't do things the same all the time. I always gotta be different. Well, next week, I'm doing something different for our 5th episode. That's kind of an anniversary, right? It's a starting point, a first stage of accomplishment in a live program where you're dedicating one day a week and having a live interview, a live guest, all the prep and the research that you put into making it flow properly. I consider it a celebration. I'm hitting number 5 next week. So we're going to have a mystery guest. I'm not going to tell you who it is. And I'm not going to tell you what the topic is specifically, but I'm going to say that it is the, with quotes around the word the, absolute essential piece that you have to have in play with your business to keep it running smoothly. There's one thing that, and I'm not even talking about website hosting or domain names or anything like that. There's something else. There's something else that could stop your business in its tracks. And it almost happened to me. It was about 6 years ago, I guess it was. Almost. I'm still here next year. It's because of this that we're going to talk about next week that saved my butt. And it will save yours too, especially in this environment that we have, this crazy environment. You need to prepare yourself so that now that we're getting you into that positive mind frame and you're progressing forward, we want you to stay there. So join us next week, same time, same day, same place, just like Batman, right? We are here every single Wednesday. Thanks again, Peter. This is Marty Dickinson with HereNextYear.com and ProduceMyBook.com saying bye for now. We'll see you next week. Stay positive out there, everybody.